The Iliad. In the 10th year of the war between the Achaeans and the Trojans, the plains before the high walls of Troy were stained with blood and littered with the bones of heroes. The Achaeans, led by King Agamemnon, had sailed from Greece to reclaim Helen, the stolen wife of Menelaus, and to sack the city of Troy. Yet victory eluded them, and the gods above watched with divided hearts. Among the Achaeans, no warrior shone brighter than Achilles, son of the mortal Peleus and the sea nymph Thetis. Swift-footed and godlike in strength, he was the scourge of Troy, his spear felling countless foes. But a shadow fell upon the Achaean camp, born not of Trojan swords but of pride and wrath. The trouble began when Chryses, a priest of Apollo, came to the Achaean camp to ransom his daughter, Chryses, whom Agamemnon had taken as a war prize. Bearing a golden staff wreathed with sacred fillets, Chryses pleaded for her release, offering rich treasures. The Achaeans, respecting the priest, urged Agamemnon to accept, but the king, swollen with arrogance, refused. "Old man," he sneered, "your daughter will grow old in my tent far from you. Begone, or feel my wrath." Chryses fled, weeping, and prayed to Apollo by the shore. The god, enraged by the insult, descended from Olympus, his silver bow gleaming. For 9 days, he loosed plague arrows upon the Achaean camp. Men fell in droves, their bodies burned on pyres, until Achilles, seeing the suffering, called a council. "Agamemnon," Achilles declared, his voice like thunder, "we must appease Apollo. The seer Calchas will reveal the cause of this curse, if you swear to protect him." Agamemnon, his eyes narrowed, agreed. Calchas, trembling, spoke. "Apollo's wrath is for Chryses. Return her to her father, with offerings, or the plague will consume us." The Achaeans murmured in agreement, but Agamemnon's face darkened. "You, Achilles, always seeking glory, would strip me of my prize? Very well, I'll return Chryses, but I'll take another in her place. Briseis, your own war prize, will be mine." Achilles' hand flew to his sword, his heart blazing with rage. "You greedy dog," he roared. "I fight and bleed for this army, yet you claim my honor? Take her, and I swear by Zeus, I'll lift no spear for you again." Only the intervention of Athena, sent by Hera, stayed Achilles' blade. Invisible to all but him, she whispered, "Hold your wrath. The gods will reward your patience." Achilles relented, but his vow stood. He withdrew to his ships, Briseis torn from his tent by Agamemnon's heralds. In his grief, Achilles wept by the sea, calling to his mother, Thetis. "Mother," he cried, "why did you bear me for a short life, only to see my honor stolen?" Thetis rose from the waves, her eyes shimmering with divine sorrow. "My son, your fate is tied to Troy. If you fight, glory will be yours, but death will come swiftly. If you stay, a long life awaits, but without renown. What would you have me do?" "Beg Zeus," Achilles said, "to favor the Trojans until Agamemnon feels the cost of his pride." Thetis ascended to Olympus and knelt before Zeus, who, though reluctant, granted her plea, for he owed her a debt. Hera, who favored the Achaeans, fumed, but Zeus' will was law. The tides of war would turn. In the days that followed, the Achaeans faltered without Achilles. The Trojans, led by Hector, son of King Priam, surged from their city, their spears flashing like lightning. Hector, noble and brave, fought not for glory but to protect Troy, his wife Andromache, and their infant son Astyanax. Yet the gods stirred the hearts of men, and blood flowed freely. Agamemnon, sensing the army's despair, sent Odysseus, the wily strategist, to Achilles' tent with promises of gifts, gold, horses, and even Briseis' return, if he would fight. Achilles, his heart still burning, refused. "No treasure can buy back my honor," he said. "Let Agamemnon choke on his pride." The Trojans pressed harder, their fires lighting the night as they neared the Achaean ships. Patroclus, Achilles' dearest friend, could bear it no longer. "Achilles," he pleaded, "if you will not fight, let me wear your armor and lead the Myrmidons. The Trojans will think you've returned, and will drive them back." Achilles relented, his love for Patroclus outweighing his wrath. "Go," he said, "but only to save the ships. Do not chase glory by Troy's walls, or fate may claim you." Patroclus donned Achilles' gleaming armor and led the Myrmidons into battle. The Trojans, mistaking him for Achilles, faltered. Patroclus fought like a god, slaying many, but his heart grew bold. Ignoring Achilles' warning, he pursued the Trojans to their gates, where Apollo, guardian of Troy, struck him. The god clouded Patroclus' mind, and Euphorbus, a Trojan, wounded him with a spear. Hector, seeing his chance, drove his own spear through Patroclus' chest. As he fell, Patroclus gasped, "Hector, boast now, but your doom follows. Achilles will avenge me." Hector stripped Achilles' armor from Patroclus' body, claiming it as his own. The Achaeans fought desperately to recover their fallen hero, and Menelaus and Ajax bore his body back to the camp. When Achilles learned of Patroclus' death, his grief was a storm that shook the heavens. He wailed, tearing his hair, and his mother Thetis came to him again. "My son," she said, "if you fight for vengeance, your own death will follow soon after Hector's." "Let it come," Achilles said, his voice cold as iron. "I will not live while Hector breathes." Thetis, weeping, went to Hephaestus, who forged new armor for Achilles, a shield adorned with the cosmos, a breastplate brighter than fire. Clad in this divine panoply, Achilles rejoined the Achaeans, his wrath now turned on Troy. Agamemnon, humbled by defeat, returned Briseis and offered gifts, which Achilles accepted, though his heart cared only for vengeance. The next dawn, Achilles stormed the battlefield, a whirlwind of death. The Trojans fled before him, their ranks breaking like waves against a cliff. The river Scamander, choked with Trojan dead, rose in anger, but Achilles fought even its waters, aided by Hera and Hephaestus. The gods themselves clashed, Athena and Hera for the Achaeans, Apollo and Ares for Troy, but none could stop Achilles' rampage. Hector alone stood his ground before Troy's gates. Priam, watching from the walls, begged his son to come inside, as did Andromache, clutching a Styanax. "Hector," Priam cried, "do not face this man alone. He is no mortal, but a force of ruin." Hector's heart wavered, torn between duty and fear. Yet honor held him fast. "I cannot hide while my people die," he said. "If I fall, let it be as a man." Achilles approached, his armor blazing like the sun. Hector, wearing Achilles' stolen armor, proposed a pact, that the victor honor the fallen with burial. Achilles, his eyes burning with hate, refused. There is no pact between lions and men. The duel began. Hector hurled his spear, but it glanced off Achilles' divine shield. Achilles' own spear flew true, piercing Hector's throat. As Hector fell, he whispered, "Spare my body, let my father bury me." Achilles, unmoved, tied Hector's body to his chariot and dragged it through the dust before Troy's walls, while Priam and Andromache wailed. For days, Achilles defiled Hector's corpse, his grief for Patroclus blinding him to mercy. Yet the gods, moved by Hector's nobility, intervened. Zeus decreed that Hector's body be returned. Iris, the messenger, guided Priam to Achilles' tent under cover of night. The old king, bearing ransom, gold, jewels, and treasures, knelt before Achilles, his enemy. "Great Achilles," Priam said, his voice trembling, "think of your own father, Peleus, who waits for you across the sea. I too am a father, stripped of my son. Grant me this mercy. Let me bury Hector." Achilles' heart, hardened by war, softened at Priam's words. He saw in the old man's eyes the universal pain of loss. Tears fell from both men, and Achilles spoke gently. "Enough. I will give you Hector, and a truce for his burial." Priam returned to Troy with Hector's body, and the city mourned. Andromache cradled her husband's head, while Hecuba, Priam's queen, keened for her son. For 11 days, the Trojans honored Hector with funeral rites, and the Achaeans held their spears. The war paused, but its shadow loomed. Achilles, knowing his own death approached, gazed at Troy's walls, his fate sealed by the wrath that had consumed him.